Hi, boom, we back with some more NFL football prediction or just evaluations over what I just saw. Over what I've seen, it feels like the Seahawks tried. Sorry for the Jets saying just too much Jets. So, uh, seems like the Seahawks tried to feel like they did some promiscuous signings to actually make their team more, consistent in the way of their scheme and the way how they produced off a hard-hitting defense with a presential skill playing offense, but the Seahawks haven't made the Super Bowl or at least the playoffs. Or the conference finals in the last minute, and got scuffed in a scorcher wild card game. Or no, it was a scorch against a divisional round predictable one-sided affair against the Packers. And here they are, and the biggest threat they had was barely over the offseason, because the biggest thing I already took over was, of course, the signing of Greg Olsen in a big a 2-year deal worth 30 something million in his pretty old age for a tight end, over his sensual size, and especially picking up Colby Parkinson from South Carolina. No, I don't think he's from South Carolina at all, but he's 6'7". See why they want Wilson to have a bit of more sizable threats for him to, whenever he scrambles. Thanks for their draft. The only thing they got was fucking Damian Lewis. And they picked up another LSU boy and fucking Steven Sullivan that won the 7th round. And then their best pick to me was literally Freddie Swain. They picked up DJ Dallas from Miami, and the guy is just a basic skills player that's like going to be in special teams. And Jesus Christ, do they need guys for special teams? They're still a sizable team. They came up second best in the NFC West, just falling second to us after a deciding maker back at Week 16, the final game against our division opponents. Till we end up still, you know, losing Week 17 anyway, but we still lead with a playoff bye. But other than that, they did. The Seahawks were not a team, or one of the bigger, tough teams to still be a promiscuous playoff contender. Even though I'm already hearing rumors that Russell Wilson's getting traded. It's a rough thought. I mean, Dominic Wood Anderson, they lost Josh Norwood. This is just most of the release. I think this is more of the cut days until they get into summer training. I heard some soccer teams some soccer leagues are coming back. If you guys are into football, go ahead and watch that. Different football. They released Ed Dickerson, former longtime tight end. I think he used to be a Baltimore Raven. So if you guys remember him, we still signed Philip Dorsett and Chance Warmack. Dorsett has been in the team for like 2 seasons, 3, and we traded away a 5th-round pick to Washington for Quentin Dunbar. A pretty okay signing. And Brandon Shell. Finley and Cedric, yeah, we picked up more like bottom tier second stringers to play for the linemen, even though we already have an issue pass blocking, and re-signed Jaron Reed. In February, the biggest thing happened was we signed Greg Olsen. That was already bombing over injuries, but being the second best producer on offense, next to Christian McCaffrey. Oh God, I already, oh my God, I already feel, and just re-signing dates that literally Penny Hart, Ryan Allen, they they got set up on the future contracts that they want to get, especially for the practice squad. Uh, whew, I want to feel excited to see the Seahawks play, and over a majority of what I've been seeing, the most to be prepared for is probably what seeing from the injuries and seeing over their reputation over injury prone, pretty toxic group of players. They're not suffering any injuries. It just comes off the play style and practically who they got. They got the Raiders, Texans, Chargers, Vikings come preseason, but that's not important. They got the Falcons to start. An offensive heavy team with a lack of a defensive identity. Losing Vic Beasley. You don't have the best. They don't have the best seeking secondary from last season. Patriots, Cowboys. Cowboys seem to be the most difficult to start the first half of the season. They do have the Vikings come week 5, and they can face off against a divisional team that might be the most competitive in the NFL, but might not just. But they might just spring up like 6 wins or 5. 49ers we have week 8. They have week 8. Then they have the Bills, Rams, Cardinals again come week 11. Then the Eagles, Giants. That didn't do well this offseason. Jets, Redskins, Rams, and the 49ers should cut off week 17. So a different first half of the season is going to be pretty experimental to see how these guys play. It's going to be pure on 100%. There's no games that I feel that are going to be one-sided except Miami and probably Arizona. The rest of the games they have is practically playoff bounds except the Giants and Jets come second half of the season. But that's what we're suspecting. Other than that, I can, see them beating probably the Falcons. They probably find a way. They'll find a way how to get upset against the Patriots. Probably lose to the Cowboys. They're probably gonna beat the Dolphins, the Vikings, Cardinals a few times, like at least once. The Niners at least once. This just feels like they're going 7-9 to me, or 8-8, depending on how the skills come to play. Thanks. The biggest thing you guys have is Greg Olsen, and you still have Rashad Penny. DK Metcalf, I'm expecting a lot from him after a great showing. I'm expecting a whole lot. They seem to have a more central footing on trying to be a more offensive heavy team. I mean, they had to be that. Their defense hasn't got much, and over what I've seen of the Hollister family, it isn't that impressive. But I see how much they want to be paying attention more on the offensive adjustments, but they should have did a bit more notable offensive lineman signings, in my opinion. But that's most of my evaluation for what I want to see from the Seahawks come the 2020 season. This is the DST Show. Like, comment, and subscribe. That's it coming from me.